Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Wellness Wednesday with Fix. Very excited to be talking about food addiction tonight. First, I want to cover a few housekeeping items. First, we are recording this, so you can watch this now as well as later, pass it on to your friends. But due to this being recorded, we are not taking any question and answers right now, but feel free to send us an email at info@fixmedicalgroup.com if you do have questions, or even if you have ideas for a topic on one of our next Wellness Wednesdays. So sit tight and let's get it started. Tonight we are talking about food addiction, or more so, how food can become so addictive and the science behind it, specifically junk food. So we all know that junk food isn't good for us, and junk food usually doesn't make you feel your best. But why is it so hard to quit? Or why do we keep reaching for that next chip or the next soda? Or, I want another cookie. It's science. There's millions of dollars being put into the science of addiction and why we want to grab for more food. And that's what we're going to cover tonight. So, processed foods, be straightforward. They're mainly sugar, bad fats, and a lot of preservatives, all of which create a combination of different sensations in your mouth that make you want more. It's hard to put down. One simple example is foods that rapidly vanish or they melt in your mouth send signals to your brain. And these signals do a bunch of things. But one is because it melts so fast, your body doesn't think it's actually taking in that many calories. So it makes you want more. It doesn't give you that feeling of fullness, so you can keep reaching until you get to the bottom of the bag of those potato chips. Okay. So these signals, they help you, they tell you that you're not eating as much as you are. And it sounds so good, but actually you're not fueling your body. It's only burdening it to work very hard to metabolize all this junk food. It's also important to know that how much money and how much time and energy these food companies invest, money, resources into creating products that keep you coming back for more. Food companies spend millions of dollars to discover the most satisfying level of crunch in a potato chip, the perfect amount of sizzle or fizzle in a soda. Don't get caught in their traps. And that's what today is about, is being aware of these traps. So a food scientist who wrote this insider's guide into why humans love junk food took a deep dive into all the specifics. Okay, it went into the psychobiology of what makes nacho cheese Doritos so alluring. This man made millions working as a food scientist for Frito-Lay, the umbrella company for Doritos. So the inventor Doritos, he envisioned this snack that as a marketing powerhouse that could deliver endless varieties of these different flavors and different variations. But none of the formulations would ever surpass like the nacho cheese Dorito, that original one. It's irresistible taste. It sent Doritos into the processed food Hall of Fame. Why did that happen? Okay. They spent $30 million per year on food science, aka food addiction. And we're going to break down exactly what this company did and what so many others do to keep us coming back for that unhealthy potato chips, soda, sugary fill, bad fat laden processed foods. Do you know why? Because knowledge is power. If you are aware of what is happening, you actually have a fighting chance to say no to that junk food and live the healthy life that you deserve. So, number one thing, we already kind of talked about it, was that melting sensation. Okay. So when fat, sugary laden snacks, they melt in your mouth. Basically, it can start off crispy, but then they just kind of dissolve. The brain thinks that those calories have disappeared too. This is what food scientists call vanishing caloric density. This tends to delay the feeling of that fullness, where you don't really feel full until you're sick because you ate too much. So Doritos definitely does that. It's that hard, crispy chip, but if you ever remember biting into it, it can kind of dissolve fairly quickly. So think popcorn, exact same thing. Cheetos and cotton candy. Okay, cotton candy is really easy to imagine, right? Those all are tricking the brain that you're actually not intaking that much food or that many calories, so it's easy to keep reaching for more. Okay? Your brain is excited by the sensation of biting into that hard substance, then it just quickly dissolves. That's that vanishing caloric density that I was just talking about. It's tricking your brain into wanting more, so you reach for it. These processed food companies spend millions of dollars, I'm going to keep saying that, millions of dollars to figure out that perfect level of melting, that perfect level of crispy to vanishing calories to make you want to eat more, get to the bottom of that bag so you have to buy more. Okay. The next scientific thing that they do to help us get addicted to these foods is the mouth watering aspect. Junk food contains a bunch of substances that trigger your body to release saliva. That's pleasurable in itself. Think about if you think about a very exciting treat or food that you want, your body automatically starts to salivate. That's also a factor why these foods can taste better. When there's more saliva there, it breaks down the food and it releases all those tastes into your mouth in a big, powerful dose. Just think about the powder on those Doritos or Cheetos. It makes you salivate, which makes your brain think that you want more food, and it's increasing the strength of the taste. So you're enjoying it even more. So you want it. The blend of those nacho cheese powder, it's grinded up so finely that they can fit it into like every single nook and cranny of that chip. So it has this powerhouse flavor that's so strong and so irresistible. Why? That maximizes the amount of powder that can trick your brain into thinking it wants more, how tasteful it is. It also gets stuck on your fingers. Everyone's probably licked their fingers after reaching into a bag of Cheetos or Doritos, that magical cheese dust, and it makes you want more. You can even smell it a little bit. Number three powerhouse when it comes to ways that scientists tend to trick us into wanting or to be addicted to these foods is the feeling of fat. To maximize the pleasure of these snacks, the goal for them is to deliver half of the calories in that little chip or whatever it is through fat. And sadly, most of the time, it's not your healthy, good fats. It's those bad fats that are wreaking havoc on our body. Doritos scientifically hit it perfectly on the mark through science. 50% of those chips are fat and bad fats. Fat doesn't really have its own taste. It's not like it has a sweet or bitter, but it's a sensation that your body feels. So fat is detected by a nerve in the brain called the trigeminal nerve, which signals straight to the brain's pleasure center. So when you're indulging in that fat, your brain is like, ooh, we like this. So guess what? You want more. Guess what also does that? Cocaine. Cocaine hits your dopamine system, and your pleasure center of your brain makes you feel good real quick, and then it drops off. So you want more. That's an addictive problem. Okay. It's stimulating your pleasure center. It's tricking your body. So you want more, 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 more. Okay. They do all these other small things, food scientists do. And this is not just with Doritos. I'm using Doritos as a big example, but think of all these processed, sugary-laden snacks, these quick things. But they have all these small little tricks they put their hard-earned time and money into figuring out, because they know they're going to get a return on investment if they find these little perfect algorithms that create these addictive properties of their food, such as the perfect amount of garlic powder. Yes. Garlic tastes delicious and is healthy in itself, but that's not the main reason they use it. Your health is not on the main thing on their mind. Garlic smell, it lingers. Think of that garlic breath. Now think about Dorito or Cheeto breath. It lingers on there, which makes or stimulates other memories and triggers you that you want more. Even if you put that bag down, you can still kind of smell it from your own breath or even from the bag still that's away. That triggers your brain those memories that I want more and more and more. Salt's another one. Salt delivers what these food scientists call a flavor burst. It dissolves in the saliva very quickly and ignites these salt receptors on the tongue. And guess what? It shoots straight up to your pleasure center of the brain, which equals, again, I want more. I want more. Doritos has 3 different variations of salt in their ingredients. You can go look at a bag. You can do it on Google. Don't go buy a bag of Doritos after this. But you can see that there's 3 different salts in the ingredients. That's not by accident. That is pure science to make you addicted to their food and keep you buying more and more and more. MSG. MSG monosaturated. We don't need to get into the scientific name. A lot of people know about MSG from Asian or Chinese food. That's where it kind of became a big thing. But it's essentially a flavor booster. It has very little taste by itself. If you just had a spoonful of MSG, you don't really taste that much. What it does is it's the wingman. When it's combined with other flavors like salty or sugar, it works together and exponentially increases that flavor intensity. Many processed foods use MSG plus two other ingredients that do the same thing. So they can get that saltier, that sugary flavor that we love, and it boosts it up, and your brain senses it. And once again, you are addicted, you are hooked. And another thing that we tend not to think about too much with our food, but it's eye candy. We don't want to eat food that looks gross or nasty. They have figured out the brightness of certain colors, what flavor or what colors actually drive us to want more of the food. Okay, we are attracted to these bright colors, these different variations of color. So Doritos, they added in three different food colorings. They didn't use regular food. They just used food dyes that are unhealthy, that are actually illegal in some countries, but we're allowed in the US. For example, Doritos and Cheetos both use two different yellows and a red. Why? Because it catches our eye. Because if you actually saw what the color of that chip is, it doesn't look as orange as a nacho cheese as we want. It'd probably be more of a brown color, which isn't as satisfying. So they trick us through our taste, through our smell, as well as through our sight to want more, to be addicted. Okay. To summarize, I know I focused on Doritos a lot today, but the science is done across the board on all processed foods to certain extents. Do they do it for our health? No. It's evil genius scientists using it to maximize their profits, not for providing a healthy snack to enrich your life. The first thing that is important to understand is that although these junk foods are referred to as foods, they are in fact not food at all. In my opinion, junk food is pretty much food-like products that resemble their lookalikes food, and they may contain a little bit of it, but they are not true food themselves. So next time you reach for that junk food, remember that millions of dollars were spent for the sole purpose of addiction and to get you to eat more of their unhealthy foods. But you're just padding their pockets with your hard-earned money for no true, real cause or real purpose to enhance your health, which is the purpose of food. Thank you for joining me tonight. We'll see you next week for another Wellness Wednesday.